Okay, I'm back again. Today I want to share a little bit about getting started in the business. And I think before I start with anything, I think it's very important that we need to realize that this business is not about selling products. Though you're in the marketing business, the business is all about the relationship building. The sooner you start building a relationship with the people in your business, whether they're users or whether they're business associates, that at the end will put you a little bit quicker where other people battle to get. And it will also help you to move up in the structure much faster if you start with building a relationship right in the beginning. It's about helping people. We know this is a product that changes life. We've heard so many testimonies of people that really found new life. And myself, I can't stop talking about it because I've been suffering with my back for 35 years and I'm a different person after a week, after a month, after 2 months. So we know it's working. And we realize that in marketing there are some challenges. And one of the first challenges is basically, we all know when the telephone rings and it's an unknown number and you know what the guy on the other end is going to say. He's going to try and sell you something that you don't want and you just want to get rid of him. Well, I've got a new strategy for them. But anyways, we are against people wanting to sell something. But if you are sure, and that is what you need to be, if you know this is something that can help people, you need to endure to the end. You need to keep on coming back to those people. I'll talk to that in a little bit. So the first place that you will start is with a call list. You need to phone people, and the best place is to start among your friends and your family, people that you already have a relationship with you. Sometimes it's more difficult to work with those people than anybody else. But at least you've got a contact list. Now, what is important to know, because people are against sales, because they have different circumstances, because people are busy, they just don't get time for appointments and they forget about things and so on, you have to realize that you have to start with a huge call list, at least 100 people, or 50 or 100 people at least. Don't expect that you will phone 10 people, 8 people will give you appointments, and you'll sign 4 people up. That is not something that's happening. But what is important, to keep on following up in the business. So start with a huge call list and follow up, never disqualify a person. Even if a person is negative, just put him on hold, you decide for yourself. I'll phone him in 3 months' time, I'll phone him in a year's time. And I've heard so many testimonies, and I was one of the people. I've heard so many testimonies of people that came into Manatech, made a success in the business, and they said, you know, the guy, my upline guy, phoned me 4, 5, 6 times, and I'm so thankful that he never gave up on me, because I didn't know what he knew at that stage. And that is important. If you learn more about the company and listen to the people's stories, you just realize this is a game where you have to build relationships and follow up. So never disqualify somebody. It's probably that person that they think, that he will never be interested, that's going to be excited and might be the next business builder under you. So the follow-up is very important. Even when you speak to somebody and he's interested, I can guarantee you within 1 or 2 days he'll forget about it. And you have to phone him again and say, is there any questions? Don't be pushy, but you just have to remind that person. Even if they want to look at some videos, people just sometimes don't get time to do that. They are so busy in their life. So you have to keep on following them up and following them up. If you don't do that, somebody else will get to him eventually and you will lose that customer in your business. So the follow-up procedure is important. Don't be afraid to follow up. Get used to following people up everywhere you can, and then qualify them. As I said, qualify them. Say, okay, I'll follow him up in the next day or 2. Or, no, this guy's not this, he's busy now, maybe a week or so, or 3 months down the line, or even a year down the line. Be sensitive to people. Don't come over pushy. Don't come over with the dollar signs in your eyes. You're not going to make a success if that is your attitude. Whenever you phone people, keep the conversation short. Now, there's one thing in communication if you want to convey a message, and that is to be in somehow control of the conversation. For instance, if I phone somebody and I tell them, get them excited about the product, and they start to ask questions on the details of the product, which you know you would not be able to explain on the telephone properly, you're probably going to lose that guy and have to follow him up at a later stage again. So the secret is just share enough information to tell the person, look, I've discovered this awesome product. Share a testimony or two with him about your own experience with using the product, somebody else's experience of using the product, and get him excited about the product and or the company. So share one or two testimonies and say, look, and if he asks you, but tell me a little bit more, just try and stick to and say, listen here, it's quite complicated and involved, and all I want is just let's come together, talk a little about the product, and then you'll have more information for you to make a decision, and then I'll call you in a few days' time. No pressure at all. I don't believe in pushing people into making decisions. I don't want to be pushing be in that position, and I'm sure you don't want to be pushed in a position to make a decision immediately. But the important thing is to get to the appointment that you can share the whole plan with a person. So in your first time that you call, keep it short and stick to the point to get to the invitation, get the person excited enough by not sharing too much things, testimony here and that, and then you'll have greater success in that. Another thing about calling people, to start in the business, you have to keep the ball rolling. Okay? Don't expect you're going to spend 2-3 hours today phoning people and leave it for 2 or 3 weeks and not getting everywhere. Now you have your own pace in which you want to start. There's no pressure from me down because you're running your own business. If you want advice on how to go further, I'm willing to help you and I'll give you some more advice on how to do it. But there's no pressure. But you have to realize that you have to do a little bit every day. If you just find to say, within a year I want to have an extra 3,000 to 5,000 rand, I'm going to do it part-time. Say to yourself, I spend 1 hour a day focused calling people, making appointments and see people. Maybe you can just do 1 or 2 or 3 appointments a week, it doesn't matter. But be consistent. And it sometimes takes a while to get the ball rolling. That's why I say start with a big call list and get the ball rolling. But when the ball is rolling, you have to keep that momentum. So if then, for instance, you're not going to phone people for 2 or 3 weeks, that ball is going to slow down and you have to start over again. So rather a little bit every day, work out your plan, your time, see how much you can do, and do a little bit every day and you will get success eventually. This is a numbers game. The more people you contact, the more appointments you will make, the more people you will get into your business, either as product users or business associates. It's all about numbers. But as I say, some of those people might say no this time, but keep on following them up. It sometimes took me over a month to get a person to that decision. I just endured in following up, and at the end of the day, they all come back and say, "I thank you that you didn't give up on me." So that is quite important to know that. But the main thing is get the appointment, because in the appointment you can read somebody, you can read their reactions, you can answer questions, and you can decide, where to focus on your presentation during that time. So the next thing that I want to share a little bit about is a couple of points on the presentation. Now, it is very important. If you're excited about the product and you don't know the contents of the presentation, the business plan, something about the products, it's very unlikely that you will get success, because people want to know, want to have information. So the first thing you should do is look at the first 5 videos that I put on the YouTube channel and study those presentation clips. Okay, the more you know it, the more you know the content, are familiarized with that, the better you can relax at the end of the day and share instead of giving somebody a presentation. Now, I believe that the success of marketing is in telling stories, in having a conversation with people and not doing a presentation. Though those video clips were very focused on getting the details over, but it was for the purpose of you. But whenever I go to people, I talk about something in their lives and we take the conversation from there. And if I see the person is just a product user, all I will do, I will focus on that one section of the product and explain how the product works and so forth. And then sometimes it pops out and says, but tell me a little bit about how much it costs. And then I say to the people, you know, it's very easy. If you just share a little bit with some of your friends, you can get the product for free. And then they're all excited again, and then sometimes they want to know a little bit more about the compensation. Then I move over to the compensation plan. But if you know your presentation, you can jump around. It doesn't have to be in that format, and you can relate to whatever the needs are that that person has that you sharing the information with. So learn to be relaxed. You can only be relaxed if you know the contents of the product. Adapt, touch on all areas. Adapt your presentation, as I've said. Don't just rush through it. Don't want to explain to somebody that has no interest in becoming a business partner, only want to use the product. Just all I do is I say, focus on what is his needs or her needs, and then just touch a little bit, just 1 or 2 sentences. You know what? It's also a very solid company, and tell one thing about the company, and then it's also good to know you can get your product for free, but I can share with you at a later stage when you get to that point, and they will be interested. But focus on what the people's needs are. The important thing with a presentation is sharing testimonies. That was the first thing that got my attention. As I said previously, I come from a marketing background. I've been in companies that really don't live up to their promises. Products aren't good. After sales service is bad. And everybody has that fear. Everybody had that experience in his life. So the testimonies was the first thing that caught my attention. Coming from a ministry background, I realized the importance of people telling their stories. There's nothing that's so powerful to share either your own story, but if you don't have a story, you will just maybe have a story of having such a better life, even if you don't have nicks and pains or illnesses or diseases or whatever. Just share that story and share a little bit of somebody else's testimony to show people it is not a sales presentation. It's not a sales pitch that you're giving. It is sharing people's success stories and how it benefits them, because I think that is one of the strong drives in the whole business. And then yes, I said it's telling a story. You will see in my presentation and the clips that I did, I kind of like to tell my story, how I got involved in the company, and through that I address all the different obstacles that people might have in wanting to use the product, or can they trust the company, or can they go into the business venture, because I had that as well. I wanted to make sure if I go into this business, I have to be sure the company is strong, the product is strong, the compensation plan is strong, and they live up to their promises. So I share my story and said, this is what I wanted to know, and this is what I discovered. And so telling a story instead of giving a presentation, I think it's a move forward. It's not cold, it's friendly, and people can relate with telling stories. It is okay to make notes in the beginning. There are so many statistics that you have on your presentation, all the figures and how many weeks and how many people and how many points and how many rands and things like that. It is okay to take an A4 sheet, and you know at that stage in your presentation you're going to do that, but you won't remember all those 5 or 4 points, and just dot the points down. And when you get to the presentation, you just explain what you've already dotted down on the paper. So what is nice about the business is you can always ask questions. The product is successful, the company is successful. Even if you don't know in the beginning, just say, look, I'm new in the business. I'm excited about the product, but I can find out for you. I don't have all the answers. And it just puts you on a level different to the professional salesman wanting to sell anything to you, and you actually get that fear of salespeople. Another thing about the presentation, what I always see, the moment I start to explain how it works and share testimonies, people say, hey, but my sister can benefit from this, and oh, my brother. Get leads from them, get numbers from them, because those are people that's already excited, and they will create the excitement among their family and friends, especially when they use the product. But get those numbers, because those numbers are very, very warm and very valuable to building your business. And then also important, you have to learn about the products. Okay, there's so much information, and I know in the beginning it seems like a mountain, but just every day, whenever there's on the Facebook page, I'll post a link down here. look on that link on Facebook, join the Facebook Moneytech pages. They post excellent videos and podcasts on the products, on success stories of people sharing about the business, where you actually gain more experience, more understanding, more knowledge about the products to better explain it to people. The better you know the products, and it's complicated, it's involved, but the better you know it, the better you will succeed in your business at the end of the day. So you have to make some time in researching, learning, knowing what the business is about, and so forth and so forth. Then the other thing that I want to talk about is cold contacts. I find this quite easy to speak to somebody that I don't know. Now, I'm an introvert. I don't always speak to people that I don't know. I'm minding my own business. But you know what is so nice about this problem? Working with cold contacts, people have two basic needs. They want a better health because they either have a back pain or illness or disease or whatever, and everybody is looking for extra income or either building a successful business relationship. So I'm in the supermarket and I'm in the queue and just be friendly to the person, and she's complaining about her back pain. I said, you know what, I've discovered this awesome product that has really changed my life, and I share my testimony and said, would you mind if I can just come around and come share about you? No pressure at all, but really it changed my life. Share one or two testimonies, get the number and follow it up. So it's so easy because the product focus on two very, very, very big felt needs with people. You don't have to create a need, like for instance selling vacuum cleaners. I've got a vacuum cleaner there in my cupboard, but now this guy wants to come and convince me that this vacuum cleaner is much better than that one, and all I want to do is I just want to vacuum my carpet. I don't want all those fancy tricks. So you don't even have to create the need. The need is there already. It's just be professional, be a person, and just share the story of the product and the success and how it can benefit them. Listen and help. Listen wherever you go. Listen to what people say. If they complain about the pain, it's an opportunity for you to help them. It's an opportunity for you to give them an opportunity to get rid of what they're suffering with, because you know that the product is successful. You can do that. And then yet again, get your appointments and your leads, get the number, contact the people, follow them up as soon as possible, go and see them, and it's a business where you really can focus quite easy on getting new cold contacts. Now, another thing that I want to share a little bit, it's about the dynamic of the business, which it took me, not took me a month to understand it, but only after a month I realized the dynamic when I started to build my business. Now, we've explained previously that Moneytechs work on, you've got your number, and then you build a tree of 6 people. Now, the 6 people in your business, it's just a way of showing if you have 6 people at that stage, that is what your points will be, and you will move up to the next level. But what I've discovered, now in my business I had these people, and not one of them started to build their own tree of people underneath them like that. Just going to draw it like that you can see it. So what I've discovered, I've got these people in my business. Some of them are just plain users. Some of them are people that say, okay, I want to start the business, but I first want to go on holiday, or I first want to use the product, which is fine. There's no pressure, because it's good to use the product. But then I realized, because whenever you build a business, this is what's called a power leg. Okay, so you enroll people, say this is person A, and then as I've explained previously, person A can enroll people in your business as well. That is how the business structure works. You have to enroll underneath the last person here. So I keep on enrolling here, because the point structure in the business works almost on about 2/3 in the first leg and about 1/3 in the second leg. That doesn't matter which level you are. Even to go to regional director, here you need about 1,000 points, and here you need about 500 points to get it. So it's 2/3 to 1/3. But what I've discovered then, that one of the first legs that people that are introduced in my business was my daughter and then my son. And I realized I had a couple of people enrolled underneath them, users and so forth. And because of their initial orders and their automatic orders, say for instance, this person has got a point value of about 100 points here, and this one's also got 100, then this person will benefit from these points, which will make his total points 200 points. And so you move up to the list. And after a month in working in the business, I realized how easy it was for people that's only users, because I'm building the business staff, to get their products free. So in my daughter's case, I was on about 1,800 points between my two legs, but in this leg she was on 953 or some odd points, which means that she could only introduce in her leg a second person, because this leg is part of her leg as well. Her business starts there. Just a second person, say with a point basis of about 365 points, and then after automatic order of about a month or so, points will move in the next business period to 1.5. Or just then another one, say for about 200 points, and she's there already without having to put in effort. So even for business users, and that's important to help the people in your business to get to the stage where they can get their products for free. Because if you have 1,500 points in your business, you move up to regional director, which means you get between 1,000 and 1,500 rand a month commission back because of the structure underneath you, which means that you can actually get your product for free. And sometimes people just get excited about that. And I believe it is quite possible to help anybody in your business, if you grow the business at a steady pace every month, to help them within 3 months to get their products for free. So my next challenge is to have my son and my daughter build their legs, but they have to give me people that I can speak to. I'm not going to do it for them, so that they can eventually get their products for free, and that they can eventually earn some income from that. Because they're 13 and 16, it is a little bit more difficult for them to do it, but it is possible for them to do it and to help it. So the dynamic of your business structure and the points underneath you, as you enroll, you get points, and at the end of the day, everybody that enrolls underneath you get the value of the people that's enrolled. So your power leg is keep on enrolling and keep on enrolling. I have to enroll in the business in my downline. And also when helping people, you help them to build their first leg first, which is part of your first leg. So your first 2 people you will enroll in this leg, which is your leg, but also their leg, to help them build the business and get to the stage of regional director status. So this is a little bit about the dynamic that I discovered at a later stage, which I want to share with you people. And I hope you enjoy it. If there's questions, email me, Facebook me, Skype me, and I'll be glad to help you. And as we progress in the business and you have questions, send me some questions and I can talk a little bit about that and put a little bit of training together, and I hope it can benefit us all in building successful businesses. Thank you very much.